The year 2020 was definitely memorable. So memorable, in fact, that it had to be named twice, 2020. In this duality, many would consider it a year of the great upset when so much was lost: incomes, jobs, travel, even lives. But it could also be the year of the radical reset, as it became the fulcrum towards going more fully digital. The Science and Technology Institute of the Department of Science and Technology is one of the smallest of the 18 agencies of the department. Our budget is very small, a mere 0.48% of the entire DOST budget in 2020. Our regular plantilla is only 64, and yet, amidst the pandemic, we found out that with our little mandate to keep a science and technology library, to communicate science for the people, and to capacitate our stakeholders, that we actually have a big voice. Now, from the numbers, we realize it was not a bad year after all. We may have lost a lot in 2020, but we did not lose the lessons. In fact, we learned a lot. Here are the 8 lessons we learned from this most challenging environment imposed by the COVID-19 pandemic. Lesson number 1, in adversity, remember your friends. Early in the quarantine period, we realized that many of our media contacts and friends lost income opportunities and even their jobs. So we dug into our personal pockets to send them food packs. You know, the food packs were not even enough to feed them for a few days, but I am certain they created goodwill that will last for a long, long time. We organized a virtual memorial for one of them who passed away. And we engaged our friends in many virtual pressers and interviews so they can report stories on science and technology. We became very good at doing virtual meetings that, in fact, DOST-STII became the go-to team to assist other agencies of DOST in their initial virtual meetings and conferences. Lesson number 2, make size matter. We did not consider size a liability. Instead, we focused on our strengths. We leveraged our 2 major programs, Starbooks, a digital S&T library in a box, and DOST-TV, our broadcast program for radio, television, and online platforms. Both programs were included in the National Priority Plan of the National Economic and Development Authority for 2020. There were only 6 projects included in that list, and 2 are from our institute. Both programs, incidentally, are also digital natives. Starbooks was rolled out 10 years ago after digitizing the resources in DOST-STII's library. Once digitized, these valuable S&T content became more accessible and portable to users, especially in remote and economically challenged schools and communities. Now, on February 14, 2020, a month before the lockdown, the Department of Education signed a memorandum of agreement with DOST-STII, adopting Starbooks and including it in their Learning Commons. By December, 4,962 units of Starbooks kiosks have been deployed throughout the country. We developed 3 mobile apps last year to make Starbooks even more accessible on Android gadgets. And by year-end, while our physical library facilities were shuttered by the quarantine, more than 2 million people accessed our contents online. DOST-TV, on the other hand, began live streaming in 2016 as a science and technology broadcast program. Eventually, it went on television via PTV4, GMA7, and GNN cable channel. We were also on Radio Pilipinas Uno. So we overcame the limitations of our size to produce results that matter for the Institute, for DOST, and for the whole country. Lesson number 3, Identify your spokesperson and be heard above the din. DOST is a house of experts, but only 3 were designated official spokespersons for the department: Secretary Boy, Yusek Gev, and Yusek Rene. Now, having designated spokespersons makes it easier for the media and the public to relate with the organization, and also for the organization to have a source of information that is authoritative, credible, and reliable. For SecBoy, we created early in his term #Science for the People as the tagline of his administration. Today, more than 6,000 Facebook users are using the hashtag, helping us to get the Secretary's voice heard above the din. Lesson number 4, pivot. If at first you don't succeed, pivot. We do not need excuses even in disasters because we really need to deliver on our major final outputs. Agility is key to successfully communicate science with the people in a pandemic. We need to be able to recast our plans and programs to adapt to the shifting circumstances and capture new opportunities. Our broadcast programs with the networks were no longer tenable and had to be suspended because of quarantine restrictions. So, we immediately reverted to live streaming to keep the public informed. Eventually, the weekly DOST Report live stream became the platform for SecBoy to share the latest developments in S&T and for our media friends to pick their story leads. The annual National Science and Technology Week celebration had to be conducted entirely online for the first time in November 2020. Our social media campaign for people to participate in NSTW reached more than 1 million people compared to a few thousands in previous editions. With influencers, we had almost 1 million views on TikTok. For our own internal learning and development programs, we also resorted to online courses and webinars and trained 91% of our staff. Lesson number 5. There is no longer any security of tenure in government service. It is performance that counts and continuous improvement that leads to quality management excellence. In the pandemic, we need to innovate, to go beyond the usual, to create greater value added. This became really more acute. To enhance our capability to perform and deliver on our mandates, we collaborated with partners who provided support in terms of additional resources, content, expertise, and their own networks. Lesson number 6. Excel. Surprisingly, amid the pandemic, we harvested a good crop of recognition and awards. Starbooks and DOST were included in the 2020 National Priority Plan. DOST-TV received 3 anvils from the Public Relations Society of the Philippines. It also bagged 4 Gandingan Awards from UP Los Baños, including the most development-oriented radio TV online platform. And it was a finalist in 2 categories of the Catholic Mass Media Awards 2020. The Commission on Audit gave DOST-STII an unqualified opinion on our financial statements. This is the highest audit rating for a government institution. DOST-STII also maintained our 9001-2015 ISO accreditation with no nonconformities and 2 best practices. So, pivot, perform, and excel became our PPE during the pandemic, enabling us to survive and even thrive through this most difficult period. Lesson number 7. Monitor, evaluate, recalibrate. The pandemic underscored the need for data to drive our communication efforts. Our staff understand this. But we were also fortunate to engage external organizations to assist us in monitoring, analyzing, and reporting our media efforts and their impacts. They truly added value. They boosted our confidence and helped us win. In 2016, we had no benchmark to establish the national level of awareness about science and technology in the country. We established in 2017 that it was at the very low 6%. We determined to double that in 2018, and we got to 13%. This went up to 16% in 2019 and jumped 7 percentage points to 23% in the time of the pandemic. We delivered 1,045 promotion services and generated 1.5 billion pesos worth of media coverage. Lesson 8. Be grateful. We're still here. The most important lesson we learned from this pandemic is gratitude. It is the attitude that opens us up to the work of other people, to the needs of the community, to the divine dimension, in order to realize what is truly valuable in our lives and in our jobs, to enable us to receive more blessings and to begin the process of healing. We are grateful that our workplace is safe and clean and that no one got infected by the virus here. We are still here. And we are even more deeply committed now to communicate science for the people because it is what allows us to hope, to thrive, and to succeed. Thank you, and keep safe, everyone.
Join us through our Facebook Live at facebook.com/STII Library. Should you have friends also who were not able to receive our email invitation, kindly inform them to join us too in the live streaming. There were email invitations we sent that bounced back because either the email address provided was incorrect or full inbox of the recipient. I thank you. So based on our registration list, majority of registrants are librarians, teachers, and professors, students, admin and human resource staff and aides, and from various industries. So nakakataba po ng puso dahil napakarami niyo po na nag-register. And para makilala or malaman naman namin kung saang mga lugar tayo nanggaling, ayan, paki-chat po sa ating mga nasa Zoom. Kung taga saan po sila, pwede niyo pong ilagay yung inyong probinsya. Ayan, ganun din po sa ating mga nasa Facebook Live. Hello sa inyo lahat dyan. Ayan, pwede niyo din pong i-chat or i-comment kung saan kayo nanggaling. Taga saan kayo? Okay, so, ayan. Dito sa Zoom, okay, may nanggaling ng Cavite, Nueva Ecija, Malolos, Kapsudayao, Baguio City, Misamis Occidental, Bacolod, Laguna, wow, Dapitan City. We have here from Bulacan. We also have here from Manila City Library. Ayan, sa Facebook naman, Okay. Ayan. Sa Facebook, hindi pa nag-update sa akin. Okay, so based muna tayo dito sa Zoom platform. Ayan. So, same pa rin. Okay, from Pasig, we also have here from Cebu. Okay. So, maayong hapon sa inyong tanan. Ay naimbag nga malum kada kayo amin. Okay, we also have here from Iloilo City. Ay La Union, from Tarlac. We have here from Aurora, from Valenzuela City. From Quezon po. Okay, from Baguio City again. Okay, Compostela Valley. From Pangasinan, Misamis Occidental. Okay, so from Tarlac. Ayan. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. So we also have here from Vegan. Wow, Antipolo. Ang galing. So our participants are from all over the Philippines, no? So kahit hindi na tayo kasi hindi tayo makapasyal ngayon, no? But through this platform, nagkakaroon tayo ng pagkakataon na magsama-sama. So thank you so much for spending your afternoon with us today. Okay. Now, allow me to introduce myself. I am Irene Alice Brillo, an Igorot from Kabayan, Benguet. And in our dialect, we say, pahad ni madam hon higatayo namin. Naimbag nga malam kada tayo amin. Mayat ay mas demon data ko amin. Okay? And with me today are my team, sorry. When I say your name, kindly open your cam and wave. Okay, so we have our Division Chief, Mr. Alan C. Taule. Ayan. And then, our Supervising Science Research Specialist and Head Librarian, Ms. Linderlit M. Maglake. Ayan. We also have here Ms. Keishan Eunice Romulo, Science Research Specialist 2. Okay, nandiyan ka pa. And then, we have here Mr. Elmer Generalao, Science Research Analyst. Okay. Also with us is our technical support, Mr. Rainer Manumbali Zagada. Okay. He is a computer operator 3 of the Information Technology Unit. Now, in order for us to have a smooth flow of this session, let me give you the following house rules. This webinar will be recorded for documentation purposes and the recordings will be sent e-certificate. So yung nagtatanong po kanina kung meron po kayong e-certificate, yes. Okay? Next, in asking your questions, kindly use the Q&A chat box for our Zoom participants and use the comment box for our FB Live participants. You may start posting your questions while the talk is ongoing. We will require everyone to accomplish our evaluation form just before the webinar ends. Only those who successfully finish the webinar and accomplish the evaluation form will be provided with certificates. Let me repeat. Only those who will successfully finish the webinar and accomplish the evaluation form will be provided with certificates. Kindly note that we will not be entertaining email or Facebook messages asking for the webinar evaluation link. This is because we believe that those who will be able to finish this webinar will be able to see the link that we will be posting afterwards. Again, the webinar evaluation link will be posted just before the webinar ends. So gentle reminder also, in posting your e-certificate online, kindly cover or blur the signature. Also, please double-check your email addresses before submitting your accomplished feedback form. This is to avoid failure of email delivery. For this webinar, please expect your certificates on or before April 14, 2021. Our working days are from Mondays to Thursdays, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. And finally, please remember to be polite, pay attention, and actively participate. At this juncture, may I call on our Division Chief, Mr. Alan C. Taule, to formally welcome you in today's webinar.
Thank you, Irene, and good afternoon, everyone. And on behalf of the DOST Science and Technology Information Institute, I am honored to welcome you, our participants, many of whom are photographers, both experienced and aspiring, as well as those who wish to improve the quality of the pictures they post on Instagram. Welcome to our special event today. Today, we have gathered virtually, that is, for the third session conducted under the DOST-STII Library Webinar Series. And this webinar holds much interest and promise, especially now that practically everyone is using social media to convey and promote their messages in visual form. But even then, even before the advent of COVID, social media, and even before the advent of the internet, a picture properly set, framed, and captured is worth 1,000 words. Whether you used a film camera, a digital single lens reflex camera, or a mirrorless digital camera, or even the mobile phone that you carry all the time. The power of imagery is something we can all fully harness and unleash if we are familiar with the techniques, including the use of post-production software and mobile apps that we can all download for our mobile devices. In response, we at the Library Service of DOST-STII put together this webinar with the title, How to Shoot Like a Pro, Promote Your Services Using Mobile Photography. With the power of the camera in your own phone, you can become the best advocate in promoting your agency services or even your own advocacy towards science, technology, and innovation, or whatever your advocacy may be. In general, this is the time for everybody to become more adept in using technology to communicate and collaborate. At a time when experts calculate that the speed of technological advancement rose dramatically due to the exponential demand for virtual contactless applications. Now, with mobile photography, every moment can be captured, resulting in more opportunities to take and shape images that will become invaluable not only toward promoting your cause, but also in building brand equity for your organization. You can be sure that you will be in safe hands. Our research person has earned a reputation for being the most sought after photojournalist in the entire DOST system. I will say no more, since our resource person shall be introduced formally in the next segments. If you are very much interested in awakening the photographer in you, then this webinar is for you. We hope that with the power of your mobile phone, you will be able Okay, as I was saying, if you are very much interested in awakening the photographer in you, then this webinar is for you. We hold that with the power of your mobile phone, you will be able to take pictures with stunning quality and evocative imagery that shall prove effective in communicating clearly to your audience to maintain and even increase your effectiveness. This webinar will show you how. Again, welcome to all our participants, and I hope that we will all have a lively, productive session. Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat.
Ayan. So, sana lahat tayo will be together in awakening the photographer in us. Okay. Thank you so much for that, Sir Alan. Now, to give you a background information of DOST-STII, we would like to show you this video.
Hello everyone, how are you today? We hope you are all doing well. Thank you for participating to our library webinar series. I am Linder Lit M. Maglake, the head librarian of DOST Science and Technology Information Institute, and I am here today to introduce our agency. So let's get to know DOST-STII. DOST-STII is one of the attached agency of the Department of Science and Technology. As you can see in the DOST organizational chart, there are 18 attached agencies, 16 regional offices, and 80 provincial science and technology centers in the Philippines. DOST-STII is one of the attached agencies of DOST under S&T services. We are the information and marketing arm of the Department of Science and Technology. We have 3 mandates. We are mandated to establish a science and technology library. So that's DOST-STII library. Next is to disseminate science and technology information. We disseminate S&T information in all formats. Through prints, we have our own publications. We also do broadcasting and press releases, and through social media as well as mobile applications. So we will identify them all on the next slides. And lastly, to undertake training on science and technology information. We conduct pre-trainings and webinars just like this one. So just follow our social media accounts for announcements. We provide S&T information services through our library. So this is DOST-STII library located at DOST compound in Bicutan, Taguig City. So as of the moment, our physical library is temporarily closed to the public as a preventive measure to stop the spread of COVID-19. But don't worry, you can still avail of our library services by contacting us. You can email us at library@stii.dost.gov.ph, and you can call and text us on the following numbers. For announcements, you can follow our social media accounts on Facebook at STII Library, on Instagram at dost.stii.library, and on Twitter at STII_library. And if you miss watching our webinars, you can subscribe and watch the recordings at our YouTube channel at DOST-STII Library. For library material requests, you can browse our library collections at scinet.dost.gov.ph. Our online public access catalog is very easy to use. You just need to remember 4 things. Number 1, go to scinet.dost.gov.ph. Number 2, click Online Public Access Catalog. Type your keyword in the search bar and click Search. Number 3, select the title of your choice. Make sure that the material is located at STII. And the number 4, copy the details and send it at library@stii.dost.gov.ph. It's easy, right? What can you see in our library collection? So we collect DOST publications, investigatory projects, theses and dissertations of DOST scholars, and reference materials on science and technology. So if you're looking for references on science and technology, just browse our collection at scinet.dost.gov.ph and email your request at library@stii.dost.gov.ph. You can also use Starbucks Online in finding reference materials on science and technology. Starbucks stands for Science and Technology Academic Research-Based Openly Operated Kiosk. Accessing the Starbucks Online is also very easy. Again, you just need to remember 4 things. Number 1, go to starbucks.ph. Number 2, click login here to explore Starbucks Online. Number 3, log in your account or sign up for a new account. And then lastly, explore the contents of Starbucks Online. So what can you see inside Starbucks Online? Well, we have Tamang Diskarte livelihood videos, we have K-12 materials, science for safer communities, nuclear technology, investigatory projects, Philippine Journal of Science, math and science educational videos, S&T News, food and nutrition agriculture, energy and freedom of information resources. We also disseminate S&T information through our publications. So these are all of the DOST-STII publications that you can download for free at www.stii.dost.gov.ph. So let's describe each publication. Let's start with the Philippine Journal of Science, or PJS, which is the oldest scientific peer-reviewed journal in the Philippines, published in 1906. PJS contains research outputs on natural sciences, engineering, mathematics, and social sciences. Next, we have the S&T Post, which is a quarterly publication of DOST-STII. S&T Post tackles how DOST initiatives have created an impact in agriculture, enterprise, industry, IT BPM, health, education, and disaster preparedness. We also have the Red Book, or the Reference for Emergency and Disaster Book. The Red Book serves as a handy tool of information about all possible natural hazards in an area. The warning information given by agencies like PAGASA and TVOX, and special programs like Project NOAA, and the suggested actions to take during these events. Next, we have DOST Digest, which is a monthly publication of DOST-STII. DOST Digest contains the most recent technologies and happenings in the local S&T community. We also have Balitang Rapidos, which is again a monthly publication of DOST-STII. Balitang Rapidos provides condensed and easy-to-read news stories on science and technology that is written in the Filipino language. Next, we have the SPEARS, or the Specialized Philippine Enterprise Reference of Experts and Scientists, which is originally published as the Philippine Men of Science in 1964 and renamed as the Philippine Men and Women of Science in 2013. SPEARS provides bio-bibliographic information of Filipino scientists and experts, which serves as a specialized reference for the public. And lastly, we have the Philippine Science and Technology Abstracts, or the PSTA. PSTA is a semi-annual publication of DOST-STII, released every June and December. So PSTA features abstracts of local S&T published researches. All of these publications are all free for full text download at DOST-STII website at www.stii.dost.gov.ph. Just go visit our website, go to products and projects, and select S&T publications, then you're good to go. We also disseminate S&T information through our mobile apps, which are all free for download at Google Play Store. Just type DOST-STII in the search bar. Let's describe these mobile apps one by one. Let's start with the Philippine Journal of Science mobile app. If you're always on the go and you want to be updated on the latest issue of Philippine Journal of Science, well, you can download the mobile app on your mobile devices and do research on natural sciences, engineering, mathematics, and social sciences. Next, we have the DOST mobile app for past and current episodes of DOST-TV programs. We also have the Science.ph mobile app. If you are always on the go and you want to be updated on the news on science and technology, well, we recommend Science.ph mobile apps for you. Next, we have the DOST app. DOST app gives you quick access to information on science, technology, and innovation from the Department of Science and Technology. Next, we have the Starbucks quiz app designed to challenge our elementary, high school, and college students to answer quizzes on science and technology. We also have the Starbucks mobile app for the students and teachers on the go. And then lastly, the Starbucks Geo Map to locate all of Starbucks kiosks installed in the Philippines. All of these mobile apps are all free for download at Google Play Store. You just need to type DOST-STII at the search bar. We are encouraging you all to download it now. We also disseminate S&T information through our website. So here are the following websites for Philippine Journal of Science at philjournalsci.dost.gov.ph. For DOSTP, we have dostb.ph. For science.ph, we have science.ph. Very easy to remember, right? And for Spears, we have spears.dost.gov.ph. And you can access the links to these websites at DOST-STII website at stii.dost.gov.ph. As I have mentioned earlier, we also disseminate S&T information through broadcasting. So we are inviting you all to please watch Expert Talk Online every Wednesday at 5 p.m. and DOST Report every Friday at 4 p.m. live at DOSTV Facebook page at facebook.com/DOSTVPH and at DOSTV Science for the People YouTube channel. Lastly, our third mandate, we undertake training on science and technology information. So among the topics that we cover are science journalism, basic photography, digitization of print materials, and library literacy program. So we are inviting all public and private institutions to avail of our online library literacy program. This is free. Just email us at library@stii.dost.gov.ph with your preferred date and time. This service is available from Monday to Thursday at 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. The time duration for this program is 2 hours. We can accommodate up to 500 participants via Zoom per batch. We'll teach you how you can avail of our free services and resources, how to use our online public access catalog, how you can request library materials at DOST-STII Library, and how to navigate the DOST Starbooks offline, online, mobile app, and quiz app version. So we will wait for your requests and we hope to see you all on our next session. So again, we are encouraging you all to please maximize the use of our services and resources. For inquiries regarding our services, resources, and products, here are our contact details. Again, this is Linder Lit and Maglake. Thank you for listening. Let's stay connected. Contact us now.
Okay, so we hope that through the video, you were able to have a glimpse of who we are and what we do in DOST-STII. Before we proceed to our session proper, may I repeat that all participants, both in the Zoom and FB Live, will be given certificates provided that you accomplish our evaluation form that will be posted just before the webinar ends. Kindly inform your friends who are not able to enter the Zoom platform to join us through the Facebook Live. So yung mga nagtatanong po kanina, halimbawa po madisi kayo sa Zoom, pwede po kayong mag-join sa FB Live. Muli, magkakaroon pa rin po kayo ng certificate kapag nasagutan niyo po yung ating evaluation form. Okay. So wow, mobile photography. Lahat siguro sa atin, if not most, meron tayong Instagram, no? Ayan, so doon natin nakikita yung mga magagandang anggulo na nakukuhanan, hindi lang ng DSLR, pero more on mobile phones, tama? Ayan, kapag nakakita ako ng ganun, napapawaw na lang ako kasi di ako masyadong marunong sa pagkuha ng larawan eh. So I am with you in your quest to learn the tips and tricks in mobile photography, not only to capture the special moments in our personal lives, but also in promoting our services. Sabi nga ni Sir Alan kanina, with the power of the camera in your own phones, you can become the best advocate of promoting or in promoting your agency services or your own advocacies. So, excited na ba kayo? Hey, can I see thumbs up from our Zoom participants? Okay. Yes, okay. How about sa ating mga FB viewers? Pwede ba kayo mag-chat ng yes? Excited na ako? Okay. So yes, yes daw. Yes, okay, all right. So without much ado, let me introduce to you our speaker for today. Our speaker is a seasoned photographer. He was able to capture and tell the stories of some of the biggest SNT events in the country. His works has been published in various DOST publications and websites, as well as in various national newspapers. He's also a resident resource person of photography training conducted by the DOST-STII as he shares the knowledge and skills he learned in the 2 decades that he has been covering DOST events. So with pride and honor, I present you Master Henry Ansaldo de Leon, our resident professional photographer.
Magandang hapon, Pilipinas. Kumusta kayo? Okay ba? And good afternoon sa inyo, sa ating mga beautiful participants, sa teachers, sa librarians, students, enthusiasts, friends and colleagues, lalo na pag from north to south, tapos may nakita ko from Visayas and Mindanao. I am humbled and overwhelmed with your presence today. So I am very happy and at the same time challenged to meet hopefully your expectations dito sa seminar na to. But let's not take this seminar seriously. Together, let's have fun learning and sharing what we know. If you have knowledge too that you can share, please do so. So sama-sama tayong magdagdag kaalaman tungkol sa smartphone photography. And what I will present to you guys is a skill where I'm most equipped with or equipped at yung photography. I tried using SLR in the early 90s. Nag-DSLR na rin ako and now I tried during pandemic na ang aking skill sa mobile photography ay may enhance din. So sabi nga ni Sir Alan, or yung old cliche that a picture paints 1,000 words, which is totoo naman, di ba? So talagang photographs create visual impact, lalo na kung ang photos mo is not only visually appealing, but still emotions. Pwede bang malaman ko, why do you take pictures or photographs sa ating audience, participants? Ba kayo kumukuha ng mga photos? Ayun, DSLR yung iba, sa phone. For memories, tama. Okay. And then, for library marketing, okay. So yung iba siguro for selfies. Yan. Thank you for documentation, for business. Yan, tama yan. And what's your favorite subject pag kumukuha kayo? Do you mas ano ba kayo sa macro photography, sa nature, landscape, yeah? Flowers, yan. And nakikita ko mga sceneries, moving subject, nature, landscape. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. So sabi nga ni Mr. Destin Sparks, photography daw is the story I failed to put into words. So ibig sabihin, kung hindi mo ma-express words, you can use your photograph to express your story, to tell your story. And during this pandemic time or any important event or any unplanned event, this is a great opportunity in our own little way, wherever we are or whatever is happening around us, to capture the witness moments. Let's turn to our camera phones and get more intimate with it. And camera phone has so much to offer. Okay. Next, please. By the way, pasensya na kung may mga noise kasi I have a lively neighborhood. Kaya, okay. Next, please. Okay. So, during this pandemic time, eto nga, sinasabi ko na na-capture ko halos lahat kasi wala kang magawa doon sa bahay when we have work from home o naka-stay lang tayo. Merong ECQ, GCQ. Ano man kaganapan sa paligid natin, capture the reality, yung sadness, anxiety, happiness, joy, hope, and be a witness through our photographs. Okay? Next, please. Okay, so this presentation, I hope will level us up, learn and review our knowledge and skills in photography using our smartphones, which is the main purpose of this presentation, to humbly guide you, share to you what I've learned and experienced using the camera phone. And I request you all to exercise using your phone while I am presenting. You can grab an object near you para mag-practice at the same time. So next. Through photos, we can tell a whole story with a picture. So yan, kahit anong makita natin, dapat merong story kaagad. Hindi lang photo lang, pero walang laman. Kumbaga dapat ang photo natin may story na kaagad. Hindi na kailangang tanungin kung ano yung nangyari. Doon pa lang sa photo, what's happening around, what's the subject. So doon pa lang, we can create a whole story with a picture. Next. So it would be good to zero in on images that we can capture from our phones or even outside of our homes. So we can look back, show and share to people through our photos what's happening around. And it's fulfilling and rewarding. Even during the time na wala pang pandemic, sa mga DOST events namin, nagre-rely din ako sa camera phone. Tine-check ko yung angulo, yung ilaw. So then, doon ko i-adjust yung DSLR ko. And then, yung gamit ko rin sa camera na yun, camera phone, for additional documentation. Minsan nga, mas maganda pang lumalabas. Okay? So, ano bang objectives natin? First, know the features and functions of our smartphone cameras. Baka let's review, baka hindi natin alam kung ano yung mga nasa loob ng camera phone natin. And then next, so we learn how to capture and produce good quality photos from our smartphone cameras. Okay, next. The last objective natin is to know ways of enhancing the quality of your photos. Camera phones are limited, so with its uses. But at the end of my presentation, I expect we can do more and starting to enjoy smartphone photography and turn our phone photography into a mini DSLR camera. And perhaps we can level up to be a pro. Okay? Next, please. So, ano ba yung smartphone? Bakit tinatawag na smartphone? So, ito daw, ang smartphone is a mobile phone that can do more other than phones. They work as a computer, but are mobile devices small enough to fit in a user's hand. Uses include sending and receiving emails, nakakapag-text tayo, nakakapag-send tayo ng photographs and multimedia messages. And phone photography is being taken seriously to the point na binibili lang tayo kung gaano kagandang features ng camera phone, di ba? Kaya ang mga manufacturers complemented the camera capabilities with professional level accessories. Okay? So, next. So, tingnan natin kung ano yung composition ng camera phone natin. First of all, yung lens. Yung lens is usually a round piece of transparent material such as glass or plastic that focuses light in order to form an image. So, yan ang composition lens natin. It's a plastic or glass. And then next, ang camera lenses dito are compounds of convex and concave lenses. Ordinary cameras use large diameter glass lenses sa mga camera natin, mga DSLR. But smartphone camera lenses have to be small and light. Siyempre, hindi kasya yung lens doon sa loob ng camera phone natin. Next. So, yung iba, like for example, high-end phones like tawag dito yung iPhone, ang ginagamit nila ay sapphire glass. Kaya mas siguro isang reason yun ba't mahal ang iPhone, di ba? Kasi meron silang sapphire glass. Yung sapphire glass, parang synthetic form ng compound kasi for transparency and not for consistency. Clear siya even for wavelengths ng light. Mas maganda, mas malinaw ang napoproduce ng iPhone. Aminin natin talaga maganda yung quality ng mga pictures doon sa iPhone. Then next, on the other hand, a compound lens is made up of number of various types of single lens elements combined. So, fixed telephoto siya, hindi siya pwedeng katulad ng DSLR na ano natin ang focus, pati yung distance, pati yung zoom. So, ang nasa lens natin sa camera phone, fixed lang siya. So, hindi siya, tawag dito, hindi mo siya pwedeng i-zoom kasi hindi siya maganda na i-zoom, lalo na mamaya i-explain ko sa inyo bakit hindi siya maganda for zoom ang mga camera phones. Kasi sabi ko na sa inyo, it's digitally zoom lang, hindi siya optical zoom. So pag in-optical zoom mo siya, sa mga DSLR, talagang malinaw siya kahit i-zoom mo siya. Kahit malayo, pwede mo siyang i-zoom in, malinaw pa rin, maganda pa rin. Hindi katulad sa smartphone kasi nga fixed ang telephoto niya. Okay? Next. So yung sensor, ito yung katulad din sa DSLR, mayroon din siyang sensor. Pero dito sa ating sa smartphone, mas maliit lang siya. That's 20 times smaller na pagkakasya mo doon sa camera phone. Kaya ang sensor nito, siya yung basically ang backbone ng digital photography kasi doon nag-i-image, doon nabubuo yung image. It is what captures light information that is then processed into an image. So yung sensor nito is made up of millions of pixels or photosites that make up the total number of megapixels of the camera. Next, please. So, isa pa yon, hindi tayo masyadong detailed doon sa mga technical. Gusto ko lang malaman din natin, ipasadahan ko lang yung mga terms na-encounter natin, like for example yung resolution. Sinabing ano bang resolution ng ng phone mo, 8 megapixel. So may 24 megapixel. So ibig sabihin, ang resolution refers to a camera's ability to represent yung details and textures ng kukunin mong image. So typically, yung camera resolution is measured in pixels per inch. Yan mga technical term na marinig natin. O may PPI o DPI, which gives you an idea of image sharpness and details. So, ang na to, wala siyang moving parts, kundi ang sensor lang bahalang mag-process ng image. So, may tiny lens lang siya, pero hindi siya makakapagbigay ng very big depth of field, yung background na malabo o shallow. So, small sensor lang siya. So, yun. Next, please. So, yun. Yung megapixels, pag sinabing pixel, ang sa sensor, isang pixel is isang data point lang siya. Pag sinabi yung megapixel, it's millions of pixels na nabubuo doon sa pagkinuha mo. Kaya ka nakakabuo ng image, kaya ka nakakabuo ng picture. So, next. So, katulad din sa bago yon, yung highest resolution, isagad mo yung resolution ng mga larawang kinukuhanan mo. Ang isang larawan kasi ay pinagtagpi-tagping information o data points lang. Sa digital, ang resolution ang nagdidikta kung gaano karaming information ang isi-save ng camera ng isang larawan. Ang resolution ay binubuo at sinusukat ng mga pixels. Ang isang pixel ay katumbas ng isang data point. Pag mababang resolution at zoom mo, mababa rin ang resolution, kaya pixelated na. Medyo academic, pero may encounter naman natin mga pixels, megapixels, ganyan. So, nagbigay lang ako ng konting information, but we will not go for technicalities, but how we will enjoy photography. So, what is photography? So, from the Greek words, photos means light and graph means drawing. So, ang photography daw is drawing with light. Okay. So, it's all about light. So, the most popular and widely used film format, next please, before, yung tinatawag na SLR, ito yung ginagamitan natin ng negative Siguro yung iba hindi na naabutan to. Pero during that time, lahat ng mga nakunan mo sa negative lang mapupunta. So pinaprocess pa siya. And then when digital cameras came in into the picture, excuse the pun, na-replace siya ng 35 camera sensor. Kaya yung DSLR camera with the 35 sensor is known as full frame camera. So wag na natin ano yan, masyado ng technical din yan. So ibig sabihin, from the SLR, naging DSLR, and then sa smartphone, ang alam ko, ang Huawei P30 Pro, mayroon siyang pinakamalaking sensor sa mga phones kasi may 43 mm. Pero actually, ang sensor natin sa phone is 20 times smaller than the full frame DSLR. And that's a lot. Okay, next please. So with a good photo with a great exposure coming from a smartphone when printed can land in a prestigious magazine. Like for example, yung sa nakita niyo yung picture na from above, kuha ko yan from the airplane using the smartphone. And because of magandang timing, exposure, and lighting, pwede mo siyang enlarge and it landed in a one full page ng isang magazine. And even pwede nyo rin siyang, ang photo nyo, pwede nyo rin siya maging, tawag dito, wallpaper. Kasi ganyan katalas ang mga pictures na kukunin nyo, na makukuha nyo, na kayang ibigay ng photos ng camera phone nyo. Okay, next please. So, keep in mind that a point-and-shoot camera beyond a certain point, probably around 4 to 5 megapixels, more megapixels will not necessarily yield a better image. Kahit sabihin nyo na 24 megapixel yan, hindi pa rin siya makaka-produce ng magandang image. Later, makikita din natin yan. So, smartphone camera lenses are all fixed and incapable of optical zoom. So, ang optical zoom usually sa mga DSLR lang yan. So, smartphone zoom digitally, trapping the image. So, kahit mag-zoom kayo, it's digitally sinuzoom lang niya, pero hindi siya lumilinaw. Instead, it's cropping the image. That is by selecting a subset of pixels from the image, which effectively reduces total pixel count and does nothing to increase resolution in the zoom area. Once we check, pag check natin, pag zoom in natin, pixelated pa rin siya. Okay? Next, please. Unlike with DSLR, you can control everything, the focus, the exposure. Next, please. So when it comes to smartphone photography, our general philosophy is to see the camera's limitations as its advantages. So meron siyang limitations, pero meron din siyang advantages. Next, please. Like for example, itong picture na to, kinunan ko siya as full, and then pwede niyo siyang i-crop. Kesa i-zoom in nyo, mas malinaw pa rin siya, katulad ng nasa left side. So camera phones are not nearly as powerful DSLRs. They are not even as powerful as some points and shoot. Pero we can do better. Kaya pa rin natin makakapag-produce ng magandang pictures through our mga tips later na i-share ko sa inyo. Okay, next please. So for the most part, ang camera phone, they lack the manual control syempre or the hardware kasi ang kaya lang natin pindot lang, wala na tayong magagawa doon. Hindi na natin siya ma-focus o ma-zoom in. Kaya ang focus pero yung zoom, medyo malabo pa rin yun. So wala siyang hardware like shallow depth of field. Hindi siya pwede makakuha ng crisp shot of someone in motion. Talagang magbe-blur siya or produce a shot in low lights that's not peppered with noise. So yan ang limitation ng camera phone. Pero next slide please. Pero here's the good news. When you're limited technically, you have to push yourself in other ways to make your shot work. So yung limited features of the camera phone shouldn't limit you also in taking great pictures. Pushing yourself to get great shots from your camera phone you'll be developing fundamental skills. Dito lalabas ang diskarte mo kung paano mo kukunan ng subject mo. Next, please. For example, ito, may I ask, sa dalawang pictures na to, baka ano yung sa kaliwa at ano yung sa kanan, ano ang kuha sa DSLR at kung anong kuha sa smartphone? May I see kung may kaya mag-guess? Sa left side, ano siya? Smartphone ba siya o DSLR? Okay, left DSLR. DSLR. Okay, sa right. Nice. Okay, ang smartphone daw ay sa right, yung iba nasa left. So, titingnan natin ha. Next, please. So, yun. So, kita nyo, kaya rin pala natin makapag-produce ng magandang picture o ng photo using our smartphone. So, yan. Walang pinagkaiba. Kaya pa rin nating mag-produce. Okay? So, pushing tawag dito. Wait lang. This is what I'm telling you guys. You can compare a photo from a smartphone versus a DSLR photo. Because, next please. So it's all about light. Yan, marinig natin sa paggawa ng mga videos o movies yung katagang light camera action dahil ang light ay napakahalaga. Ito yung pundasyon upang makalikha ka ng isang larawan. Sa liwanag nabubuo yung kulay, hugis, sa pamamagitan liwanag o kahit ang dilim. Ang exposure ang magdidikta naman kung gaano karami o konting liwanag o dilim. So it's all about light. In photography, siguro aware yung iba dyan, maraming aware sa golden hour. Diba? Minsan, lalo na mga landscape, mga landmarks, kaya sa labas, yung golden hour is the period of daytime shortly after the sunrise or before sunset. Yung kukuha ka during which daylight is redder and softer than when the sun is higher in the sky. So the period of time shortly before sunrise and shortly after sunset is called the magic hour, especially by cinematographers or photographers. Others say it is 1 hour after sunrise and 1 hour before sunset. You can take pictures before 10 a.m. Pero depende pa, and after 3 p.m. Pero depende pa rin sa location. Kung madilim naman, makulim din, okay lang din. Photos will be soft, warm, and no shadows. Tamang timpla ng mga larawan with the natural available light. And as long as there is very good enough lighting, you can still take great photos. It's a matter of how you put your subject in a good lighted place or considering what part of a room you can take your photos. Okay, next please. So, wag magmadali. You anticipate what time a good natural light is available. Photography develops your patience too. Next please. You can use available lights around like lampshade, flashlight, lighted candle, or even your camera flashlight. Yung iba naman, even white cloth ang ginagamit to give your subject a lighter or brighter look. Next, please. So yung smartphone, it's not the greatest in low light talaga. So it's best to capitalize on lighting conditions. Your device functions under the best. So ibig sabihin, maganda ring i-explore ang camera phones sa lighting conditions like concerts, stage plays, exhibits, museums, and other artsy-fartsy events or places that lighting is essential and lighting is very good. Never use flash, especially with exhibits, for they said it will damage the paintings. And the pigmentation daw will fade. Some other photo are sensitive daw. Pero actually, the flash is annoying with people around. So, next please. So, simulan na tayo sa ating phone. You can grab your phone, tingnan natin. So, unang-una, tingnan nyo muna yung settings ng inyong camera. So, makikita nyo, ako lagi kong nilalagay yung grid lines, in-on ko, pati yung HDR, ang tinatawag na high dynamic range. Itong high dynamic range, ginagamit ko to kung ang nasa labas ka, tapos may shade, tapos medyo madilim. Yung HDR can shoot three best parts ng exposure. Then mamimili ka na lang doon. So para makita rin kung ano yung nasa yung linaw o linaw ng ano, yung sa shade. So magandang gamitin itong HDR na to sa mga madidilim na lugar para makita natin din o ma-focus din natin, mabigay din o ma-expose yung tamang kung ano yung nasa yung subject natin. Okay? So okay na, pag meron ng na-set nyo na, so the most important thing to look out for when taking a photo is to make sure that your subject is in sharp focus. Siyempre yun naman. For example, dito sa picture na to, ang gusto kong focus ay yung bud ng plant. So to set the focus on the phone camera, you simply tap the screen where your subject is in the frame. Siguro alam niyo na yan, no? Tinatap lang natin kung saan ang focus na gusto nyo. So yan. So may makikita yung yellow square will appear to confirm the focus point. So kung gusto niyo doon sa branch, pwede niyo i-focus doon. Yun lilinaw, lalabo yung nasa harap ng mga leaves. So yan ang focus na capable sa camera phone. So if your subject is moving, like for example, doon sa picture na may langgam na gumagalaw, ay naglalakad, so to make sure if the subject is moving around, make sure you tap the screen just before you take the shot to ensure that they are in focus. Kaya na-capture ko yung langgam na in still. So yan, itatap niyo muna siya, then saka niyo siya kukunan. Okay, next please. So yan ang sinasabi ko. Okay, next please. Yan, to set the focus, itap niyo lang siya, and then next please. So, next please. So yan yung sinasabi ko yung langgam na gumagalaw. So, tinap ko muna yung focus na yun, and then saka ko siya kinunan. And then once you're happy that you have gotten a sharp photo of your subject, you can draw more attention to them. If you wish, by using one of the many apps available, like for example, yung blur, the background, mayroong mga editing process yan. Pero hindi mo na kailangan yan once na pag gumagamit ka na, pag sanay ka ng gumamit ng phone, definitely, automatically, nagba-blur na yung background mo. So yan. So remember that ang ginagamit natin na yellow square ay pang focus. Okay, next please. So aside from the square, yellow square, may makikita yung parang light, tawag dito yung parang sunlight na yellow. That's the exposure naman. Pag nakikita niyo sa tabi, kung madilim o gusto niyo magdilim o gusto niyo maliwanag, hawakan niyo lang siya, i-press niyo lang yung parang sun na yon, tapos itaas niyo, doon makikita niyo kung tama yung exposure na gusto nyo o gusto yung diliman, ibaba nyo. Dahan-dahan lang kasi minsan talagang mahirap hawakan nyo kaya i-press yung sun na yun. So, na-try nyo na ba? I-try nyo nga kung okay lang ba? Nakita nyo na? Are you following? Okay. So, makita nyo, pag tap nyo, may makita kang sun. Tapos, i-press nyo lang siya up and then down. So, andun yung exposure natin. Okay. So, exposure simply refers to how bright or dark the image is. Okay, next please. So, allowing the camera to set the exposure on the focus point isn't always ideal. Kasi minsan, pag pindot pa lang natin, madilim na, pero hindi pala yun ang gusto nyo. So, you use the exposure para at least alam nyo kung nasa sa inyo kung paano yung timplahin ang gusto yung picture. So for example, if the subject is in dark area of the frame, this could lead to overall image being overexposed or too bright or vice versa. Okay, next please. So the rule of thumb is that it's easier to correct an underexposed, yung madilim, dark photo than an overexposed, too bright one. Adjust it at the moment of capture. So pag alam nyo na maliwanag na, pag kinuha nyo na siya, pinicturean nyo na siya, hindi nyo na siya mapapadiliman. Mas mabuti pa yung underexposed kasi kaya pa niyang paliwanagin ang picture. Okay? Next, please. Okay. Ito pa yung sinasabi kong diskarte sa camera phone. Zoom with your feet. For example, sa left side, kikita mo yung from afar, kinunan ko siya, may red circle doon, it's a bug. And then I tried it na i-zoom, kaya yung nasa gitna, yung pixelize siya, hindi siya masyado maganda. Unless lumapit ka at kunan mo, mas malinaw, mas maganda yung picture na na-produce mo. So zoom with your feet. Do not ever use the zoom on your smartphone. This is the first step towards taking a bad smartphone picture. Okay, next. So if you want to zoom in on something, use your legs and move. And all you need to know is that the zoom on mobile is never good. Although yung iba, ginagamit yung zoom, for example, sa mga seminar, kikita ko, pag picture sila ng mga PowerPoint, okay lang yon kasi pang guide lang naman yun. Pero pag gusto mo magandang picture, photo, zoom with your feet. It's not advisable to zoom in. Hindi maganda, magiging pixelized. Okay, next please. Okay, ito pa isa sa mga problema natin, yung shake hands, not your phone. Minsan yung camera shake when taking pictures is very overlooked, even on the large cameras. So talagang minsan pipitik lang tayo tapos aalis na tayo. So hindi siya advisable din na ganun gawin natin. It's either hawakan yung dalawang kamay, or use a tripod, or if you have sa isang event meron dong wall, sige, sumandal kayo, ayun, gawin nyo. O kaya, yun, tripod, camera phone, hawak nyo dalawa, and then o kaya lean on the wall. Basta maging lang siya. Wag lang yung iba kasi, pag kumuha na, akala nila, pag picture na nila, kuha na nila. Kaya once na na-check out nila, blurred na siya. Hindi na maganda. So, dapat, lagi tayong kung gusto natin siya makuha na maganda, dapat maingat tayo, dahan-dahan, patience lang. Kasi nakakatulong yon para makakuha ka ng magandang picture. Huwag kayong mahiya kung minsan may mga event, gusto yung kumuha pero nahiya kayo, kumuha na lang kayo, tapos aalis na. Pagkita nyo, wala, sayang. So mas maganda, kung handun na kayo, you take a minute or few seconds to capture the picture or the event, at least maganda. Hindi naman kayo sasawayan kung hindi naman kayo magtatagal doon. Okay? So next please. Okay. Minsan, ito, ginagamit ko ito lalo na pag may mga action shots. Kunyari, moving parts, ay moving scenes. Ang ginagamit ko yung touch ID fingerprint sensor. I-press niyo lang siya ng marami at sunod-sunod siyang kukuha. And then from there, makakapili kayo ng tamang picture na gusto nyo. At least, hindi sayang yon. Gusto nyo makapture yung isang tumatakbong sasakyan. Siyempre, pag picture ng isa, sayang, bilang blurred siya. Pero pag once na mag-burst mode kayo, pindutin nyo lang na matagal, sunod-sunod na yung magka-capture. And then, later, pumili na kayo ng tamang gusto yung picture. Okay? Next, please. Okay, isa pa to. Hold it horizontally. Yung iba kasi lagi na pag nag-ano tayo, laging pag ganyan ang kuha natin. Saan ba? Yan. So, hold it horizontally at all times instead of vertically. This gives you a wider frame. Mas magandang ganyan. Great for landscape shots. So this is also true with DSLR. Or it is better to take shots horizontally if there's so much going on around. So when people look at your photos, it's better to show them na not only the subject, but what's happening around the subject. It's like you bring them to the scene and let them experience what you are experiencing. So let your photos bring them to the actual scenario. Okay, next please. So know that you will use for shutter. So yung either the button assigned, saan ba kayo mas Saan ba kayo mas komportable? Dito ba? O dito sa dalawang ano dito sa taas? It depends on you. Pero yung iba, dahil sa meron ng mga gadgets, iba remote control na. So the idea is to get you to a place where you take clear images with no camera shake. So, pwede rin sa iPhone, pwede rin sa headphone. Minsan meron din tong ano, once na clinic nyo, nakaka-take ng picture. So, basta importante, walang camera shake ang picture nyo. Basta kung saan kayo sanay, kung saan kayo mas bihasa, then do it. Walang problema doon. Okay, next please. Okay. Again, you can check your camera settings and check your camera and enable the grid lines. Ito nakakatulong talaga to sa akin, yung grid lines, kasi photographic composition principle that says an image should be broken down into thirds, both horizontally and vertically. So ito yung tinatawag natin na yung rule of thirds, di ba? So yung, okay, next please. So use grid lines to balance your shot. According sa theory daw na to, if you place points of interest in these intersections, makikita niyo yung siyam na lines na to, along the lines, your photo will be more balanced, leveled, and allow viewers to interact with it more naturally. Okay, next please. Like for example, itong pictures na to, pwede mo yung ilagay ang subject nyo, it's either on the upper left, lower left, upper right, or lower left. Let's create more beautiful photograph when it's in the rule of third mode. Okay, next please. So, hindi lang sa mga sa intersection, pwede rin siya sa gitna, lalo na kung pantay naman yung subject mo. This is also called the rule of third. Pantay naman siya from the sky and then yung sa dagat. So, it's also called the rule of third. Next, please. So next is embrace negative space. Minsan maganda rin yung may negative space o blanco sa labas. Negative space simply refers to the areas around and between the subjects of an image. It can take a photo from good to great. So ang focus mo lang doon is the subject lang. Hindi mo nakikita yung wala kang nakikitang background na nakaka-distract, kundi sa subject lang na gusto mong ipakita. Okay, next please. Next, please. So, it's all about the angles then. So, change your perspective on things. Like for example, hindi ka lang kukuha ng full shot lang. Ang dami pa ng magandang angulo. So, change your perspective on things. Like for example, itong sa photo na to, ang dami mong pwedeng makunan. Next, please. Like for example, sa library nyo, hindi lang puro nakatalikod ng mga estudyante o yung mga nagre-research, pwede na sa side, kita kung ano yung subject, o kaya kita nyo mas effective siya, mas maganda siyang tignan. And even sa right in library nyo, kung talagang well-lit siya o well-lit, kunin nyo siya muna ng full shot, maganda pa siya. Kahit kung maganda yung ceiling nyo, maganda ceiling ng library nyo, kunin nyo rin. It adds to the beauty of the photo. Kaya nakikita nyo, tapos maganda yung maayos. Pero ayusin nyo rin muna yung library nyo. Walang kalat para once na gusto nyo i-promote ang library nyo, walang nakikitang hindi maganda sa mga photos nyo. Ayusin nyo, linisin nyo, baka may alikabok yung table. Minsan, pag zoom in ng mga viewers, ay may alikabok pala yung table. So lahat yun, dapat i-take for consideration lang siya. Tapos itong sa left, syempre may ang ginawa namin, hindi lahat nakasubsub sa para at least kita lahat yung apat na estudyante. So it's more effective. It's a good shot then. It's a good picture. So next please. So for example, may mga estudyante, kung maganda naman yung lugar nyo, pwede kayong lumabas, kita nyo may glass naman pala siya. So ganyan. Mas marami, lahat ng angulo na pwede nyo, try every perspective na makikita nyo. And even in Starbucks sa DOST-STII, instead na parang isang flat lang siya na isang straight, pwedeng from worm's eye view, from yung eagle's eye view, bird's eye view. So tingnan nyo, ang importante kung ano yung gusto nyo ipakita. Kung gusto nyo ipakita ng Starbucks, so kitang-kita naman siya. Kung gusto nyo ipakita ng mga estudyante at kung saan sila nagre-research, ayun, makikita nyo rin siya sa picture. So ganun dapat ang lagi yung isipin kung kukuha kayo ng mga pang-promotion ng inyong mga services. Next, please. So, once na maging addict o maging enthusiast sa photography, lahat nakikita mo from top to bottom to side. Kaya pag may nakita kang ganyan, i-capture mo kasi once in a lifetime lang din yan, makikita mo. So, katulad ng sa kanan, instead na straight lang, nakita ko kung paano humiway ng karne in a different way, in different angle. So yan, basta gawin niyo lahat yan na makakatulong sa skills niyo na ma-develop din skills niyo sa iba't ibang anggulo ng pagkuha. Okay, next. Dito naman sa minsan madalas kong gamitin din tong sa feature ng camera yung panorama. Since hindi military hindi naman sila gumagalaw. So I took the chance na I use the panorama mode o panoramic mode, which is maganda naman tingnan at lumabas. At mas na-capture niya yung buong scenario. Yan sinasabi ko na you capture everything. Okay, next. So get down on the ground, climb up on a high vantage point, move to the side, kilos kayo para kung gusto makakuha ng iba't ibang anggulo. Importante naman ma-capture nyo yung lahat, hindi lang parang ito lang. Minsan yung iba, tamad lang na kumuha lang and then okay na to, maganda na naman Pero kung may makukuha pa kayong ibang anggulo, which is better, which is good also. Okay, next. Katulad nito sa Padipio. So, sa ibang anggulo, kasi marami action nangyari. So, I took all the angles na pwedeng kunin. So, ganyan. Para total handong ka na lang sa moment na yon, you grab all the opportunities to capture everything na kaya mo, na sa tingin mo kailangan mo, maganda. So, yun. Okay. And change your point of view, especially if there's a lot of action going on. Next, please. So, isa pa to sa mga photography tips para gumanda ang photo natin is use leading lines. There's a line that draws the viewer's eye towards a certain part of the frame. Minsan yung lines natin o yung mga leading lines, doon nadidirect ang viewers natin sa subject na gusto nating kunan. Those are called leading lines. Next, please. Ito sample din ng mga leading lines. Yung mga basta may line, kumbaga nadidirect ang attention mo kung saan may leading line. Okay, next please. So there's a line that draws the viewer's eye toward a certain part of the frame. So yan, sample din yan ng leading lines. Next. So, leading lines also are great for creating a sense of depth in an image. Lumalalim yung kuha mo, lumalalim yung picture mo. And minsan, para magkaroon ka ng human interest sa isang picture mo, katulad dito sa kaliwa, kung plain lang siya na road, it's okay kasi may leading lines. Pero once na meron kang sinamang tao, that's a human interest story. That's a human interest photograph. So, like for example, sa library nyo, o kahit sa services nyo, if there's a thing na pwedeng magkaroon ng human interest na tawag dito na topic o do it, lalo na kung mga sa library may mga estudyante, kunin nyo, pwede naman yon. Paalam kayo, syempre kailangan nilang pumayag, syempre hindi ka basta-basta kukuha na lang. Okay, so yan. Next. Another tip ng ating sa camera phone na pwede rin, yung symmetry. Symmetry can be defined as a vague sense of harmonious and beautiful proportion and balance. So sa picture na to, halos pantay, di ba? Parang kung ano yung nasa left at nasa side, yun ang symmetry. Next. So in photography, symmetry usually means creating an image that can be divided into two equal parts that are mirror images of each other. Okay, next please. Okay, oops. Try, eto naman. Yung iba kasi, once na nagkaroon na sila ng app, ng mga editing, nagre-rely na sila doon. Pero mas maganda na to try to take a photo that doesn't need much editing. Doon pa lang sa pag-picture nyo, ini-edit nyo na yung focus, yung kulay, yung composition, yung rule of third. So doon pa lang, para hindi nyo na kailangan pang dalhin pa sa editing software para lang ma-enhance yung ano. I-challenge yourself. Try to take a clear and sharp photo without having it edited. Mas maganda yon. Mas parang raw ang tinatawag na. Kahit sa DSLR, kahit sa ibang mga gamit na phone o camera, challenge yourself na ito na, yung raw, maganda na to, hindi mo na kailangang i-edit. So yan. Next, please. So, iba naman, katulad ng iba, may nagre-relay din sa filters. Even though yung filters are great, pampaganda yun sa picture nyo, lalo na kung may magazine kayo o may report kayo, pero it won't look good if the initial image is of poor quality. Siyempre, gandahan nyo rin. And then, you can use naman yung filters, lalo na pag annual report, for mga presentation, sa mga PowerPoint, yan, it helps naman. Walang problema naman doon. Okay, next please. And of course, practice, practice, practice. Hindi pwedeng, wag tayong tamad na tatamarin ka, ganito na lang picture. Practice tayo. Iba-ibang practice, iba-ibang, basta practice, practice, practice. Sabi nga ng isang boy band, sabi niya, practice will never betray you. So sinasabi nga nila, yung practice makes perfect. So yan. Kaya once na na-practice nyo na, gamay nyo na yung phone, kahit siguro isang hawak nyo lang sa phone, madali na kayong mag-adjust ng exposure, ng focus, kasi practice kayo ng practice. Nagiging gamay nyo na yung phone nyo. So madali na, hindi yung parang, ano ba gagawin ko? Paano ba to? So once na yung practice at mayroong event na maganda at mayroong unplanned event, ang bilis nyo na maka-adjust sa camera nyo kasi sanay na kayo, na-practice nyo na how to handle or to take photos sa camera phone nyo. Okay, next please. At syempre, kailangan meron ding gumagamit din tayo ng apps. Ako rin gumagamit ako ng apps. I usually use Snapseed, saka yung Mix. Yung Lightroom din, gumagamit ako sa phone. Madali lang, downloadable naman siya. It helps us to make our photos more visually impressive or visually beautiful, di ba? So, kayo, ano ba yung mga gamit yung apps na dinownload nyo? Kasi ako mahilig ako sa Snapseed saka sa Mix. Mayroong free yung Lightroom, yeah. Maganda talaga ang Lightroom kahit sa Snapseed, very good. Ako rin, VSCO, I tried it also. Pero may bayad na ata yun. So, excuse me. So, ito. Okay, next please. So, these apps are incredibly helpful in editing your work. Lalo nga sinasabi ko kung may annual report, may brochure kayong gagawin, o kaya may poster. It helps you, you can correct the problems like bad lighting, kasi nga limited nga yung camera phone natin. You can improve other details. Like for example, dito sa kaliwa, I use the Snapseed para mas maging colorful. Itong Mix naman, ginawa ko parang may mga paint mode o ganyan. So, depende sa inyo kung paano nyo. Basta you try everything kung anong kaya nyo. So, find your favorite. Next, please. Find your favorite. Learn to use it well, and you can take your already awesome image onto the next level. Like for example, ito, Mix and Snapseed sa isang picture lang from the original, from the Snapseed, and then the Mix. So, ganyan. So marami pang magagandang apps na pwede nyo. Depende sa inyo kung ano yung pangangailangan nyo. And it's very good. Basta lang sa mga reports, nakakatulong siya. Pero pag mga news story, stick to the original. Kasi pag story, hindi ka dapat mandaya kung ano yung nangyayari. So kung ano siya, kung ano na-picture nyo, yun siya. Siguro magagawa nyo lang yung cropping, kaya yung parang alignment, pero yung mo siya, enhance mo, it's a no-no sa mga news item. Okay? Next, please. Siyempre, accessorize. Lalo na ngayon, ang dami na, lalo na sa video, meron na tinatawag tayong gimbal. Meron ng ginagamit na gimbal para sa ating mga cellphone, which is a very good accessory talaga. Pero dito sa camera, I try to buy I bought yung parang lens, like kasi may ligaw sa macro. So I tried it. Kaya sa left side, upper left side, I tried it. Maganda naman. So yan, pang mga fancy lang siya. Para lang katulad meron ding zoom lens, like for example sa mga buwan, mga full moon, nakakatulong din siya. Maganda rin siyang gamitin. Okay? Next, please. At ang nakakalimutan natin, minsan, hindi natin nalilinis ang ating lens. So it's a simple rule of thumb. Clean the glass on your lens. Cleaning it can give you sharper view and improve results. Kaya minsan, ako, hindi ko siya, lagi kong, pag kumukuha ko, nililinis ko talaga lagi. Una-una, syempre, para malinis din, to take care of the phone. Pero kailangan yun kasi, next please. Kasi a shot with a clean lens is always going to be better than a shot with your greasy thumbprint. So, next please. So, yun nga, kung malabo yung glass nyo, ang lens nyo, wala kayong malabo din yung yung picture nyo. So, linisin nyo to produce a clear photo. Okay, next please. Ito, usually yung iba sa bagay, yung iba hindi na gumagamit ng flash, pero know when not to use flash. Unless there's no other option for light, you should usually avoid using your phone's flash. Lalo na kung may magandang lighting sa gabi, sa bahay, sa araw, there's no need for flash to use it. Okay, next please. Ito naman, for example, itong mga events na to. So dito ko ginagamit yung exposure ko. Kasi once you tap yung phone mo, maliwanag kasi yung sabog yung lights, yung Christmas lantern. So ang ginagawa ko, binababa ko yung exposure to get what I want na exposure. So yan, maganda siya, hindi sabog. So try it sa gabi. Okay, like for example sa bamboo organ, yung mga Christmas lanterns doon, talaga maliwanag siya kasi puti. Pero once na ano mo yung exposure, kita niyo na kaagad kung ano yung itsura, kung ano yung details ng Christmas lantern. Okay, next please. So, yan. Pag gumamit kayo ng flash, ganito kaliwanag, wala tayong hindi makikita ang detail. Pero unless pag talagang kailangan ng ilaw, wala tayong magagawa. Use it. Wala nang kesa wala tayong makuha, you can use the flash kung wala talagang available na ilaw at talagang madilim. No problem. Ang importante, may nakuha ka. Okay, next please. Ito, madalas sa phone natin mag-selfie, pero hindi naman always best yun. So it isn't always the best option kasi don't be afraid to ask someone to take your portrait. You can get also a tiny tripod, you can stick your phone on, or you can use the camera up with the timer. Mahirap lagi puro tayo naka-selfie na sa pagtanda natin makikita lagi yung braso natin na na-expose. Maganda yung kitang-kita buo. Walang problema doon. Okay? So, push yourself to look for reflective surfaces and place your subjects at angles or in direct comparison to the reflection. Yan, itry din natin. Alam ko, yung iba kaya nang gawin to. Even simple shades of light can make amazing reflections. So, ayan, yung mga glasses, puddles, bodies of water, na talagang smooth and shiny surfaces na magre-reflect yung subject mo, it's a very good picture. It's just fun and try it out. Iba sigurado, nagagawa na to. Iba kasi parang yung sunset lang, pero i-try nyo rin kumuha ng mga paddles, mga yan, body supporter. It reflects talaga and maganda din ang labas. Okay, next please. Don't be afraid to take another shot. Snap away at anything and everything that suits your fancy. Kung noon SLR 12 shots lang, wala ka na, ubos ka na. Ngayon sa atin, ang dami sa memory card, kahit ilang milyon o ilang libo ang kunan mo. Wag kang manghinayang na kumuha ng marami. So sayang kasi, 'di ba? Lalo yung mga events na sinasabi ko nga, mga moments na hindi natin na we-witness everyday in our everyday life. So capture it. Kung ano, ito, gawin natin lahat yan. Next, please. So the important thing here is that the more photos you shoot, the more comfortable you will get and more you will determine the direction you like to take your smartphone photography. So pag nasanay ka na, ito sa akin, mas nasanay na ako, parang automatic na pag mayroong magandang kinukunan ko. Kahit pangit, kinukunan ko. Parang nasanay na ako na kumuha kasi parang once in a lifetime itong event na ito baka magamit mo o ikaw lang nakakuha nito o ikaw lang naka-witness nito. So, next please. Pero, the only thing holding you back is how much storage is on your phone and how long your battery can last. Ito minsan na natin, kakalimutan natin, wala na pala tayong memory. Wala na pala tayong battery na ubos na. So, if ever meron kayong event, yung mga pictures nyo sa phone, i-transfer nyo na para marami pa kayong storage ulit. O kung gusto nyo bring another memory card para may store yung mga events na nakunan nyo. Okay, lalo na yung ngayon mabuti lang may mga battery pack na pwedeng habang nakaka-charge na. So yun, don't forget that kasi minsan yun ang nakakalimutan. Minsan sasabihin sa akin magpapa-picture, pag picture ko wala na palang memory. Sayang. So yun ang nangyayari usually. Mga nawi-witness ko, na-experience ko. Okay, next please. So your gadget or phone is a powerful to send a message through photos. Experiment on different moods that enhance your photos. Next please. So through your photos, take this opportunity to impart a message to people, create stories, inform, inspire, motivate. Katulad nito, capturing pandemic or any important events or scenarios, are capturing history the easiest way. Next, please. So, what's the best camera for you, my dear participants? May I know what's the best camera para sa inyo? Sony. Okay. Nikon. Canon. Okay. Nikon. Okay. Ice. Wow. Deep. Leica. Okay. Canon. Huawei. Okay. Lahat yan tama. Okay. Lahat yan tama. Next. Basta dala nyo. The one you've got when you need it most. Kahit high-end pa siya, pero hindi mo dala at mayroong event o mayroong isang happening, hindi mo nadala, it's useless. So, the best camera is the one you've got when you need it most. Yon. So, next please. So, ayon kay Aaron Siskind, photography is a way of feeling, of touching, of loving. What you have caught on film is captured forever. It remembers little things long after you have forgotten everything. Di ba? Ang ganda. So talagang ito yung magpapaalala sa atin mga maliliit na bagay. Once na makalimutan natin yung iba, may pictures tayo, photographs. Also, the important thing here is that, wait lang. So, and I will be honored pala, after this presentation, you can share your pro photographs with us. Let's see and share what we've learned from this webinar. Think, plan, and shoot professionally. It's okay to copy styles of pegs in photography kung gusto niyo ang peg nyo national. Basta always think na at par yung photograph nyo from the rest. Like for example, gusto niyo pang National Geographic, do it. pang magazine, do it. Walang problema doon. Until ba magkaroon na kayo ng sarili nyong style, magkaroon na kayo ng sarili nyong skill, and then doon, magiging globally na ang picture nyo. You become professional na talaga. Kahit smartphone pa yan. Okay? Next, please. Salamat po. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sir Henry. Wow. I mean, simple lang pala, no? Kaya lang, kailangan mag-practice pa rin para makaya natin, no, yung tinuro sa atin. Okay, so before we proceed to the Q&A portion, dahil may mga nagtatanong pa po, okay, let me remind everyone that the webinar evaluation link will be posted just before the webinar ends. Okay, mapopost po siya, maipapakita po siya sa screen. Okay, so only those who will successfully finish the webinar and accomplish the evaluation form will be provided with certificates. Kindly note that we will not be entertaining email or Facebook messages asking for the webinar evaluation link. Okay, we shall now proceed to the Q&A portion. Although medyo bitin ako, parang kulang, Sir Henry, no? Pero siguro pwede nating baka pwede tayo mag-part 2. Okay.
Mas
So,
maganda may actual na, yung talaga ano siya. Actual learning.
Ayan.
Oo, maganda yun.
Yan. So magpa-part 2 tayo pag pwede na tayong tumanggap ng walk-in clients. Yay. Okay,
Pwede.
so Q&A portion na tayo. Ready na kayo, Sir Henry?
Let's try. Yeah, sure.
Let's try. Saglit lang po. Yan. So bago tayo magsimula sa question, we will just acknowledge the presence of our director, Sir Richard T. Borges. Hi, sir.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone.
Ayan. So, okay. First question, Sir Henry. What is the actual or effective resolution produced by a camera phone? What is the actual or effective resolution produced by a camera phone? Effective resolution.
Ito sabihin ko, kahit pinaka-lowest megapixel pa siya, resolution, ang importante yung lighting at exposure mo sa picture na kinunan mo. Kahit sabihin mo na lowest or lower resolution siya, you can produce a very good picture. Wala siya sa mataas na picture, mataas na megapixel or resolution. It's still kung paano mo siya kinunan, yung subject mo with right exposure and right lighting. So yun.
Okay. So right exposure, right lighting. Ayan.
Yung focus din, sama natin yung focus syempre.
Ayan. Oh, speaking of focus, sir, ang tanong is, do all smartphones have the set focus feature? Lahat daw po ba ng smartphone meron siyang set focus na feature?
Meron naman. Kaso yung ibang mga high-end, syempre pagandahan na sila ng mga phones, di ba? So yung iba talagang they try to outdo each others. Pero mayroon ding mga set focus na rin yan. So lahat yan. Makikita niyo, once you tap the screen ng camera nyo, sinasabi ko may yellow square doon. Yun, that's where you focus your subject. Yun.
Okay. Ayan. And then, next question is, in taking pictures in at least how many seconds, at least how many seconds before you move after clicking?
What do you mean? Yung sa bars mode?
Kapag halimbawa daw po nag-take kayo ng picture, ilang seconds bago nyo i-move yung camera? Halimbawa nakapag-take na kayo ng picture. Tapos, bago nyo tanggalin yung camera dun sa subject.
As long as na-focus mo na siya, wala namang in seconds yun eh. Kumbaga, as long as na-focus mo na ng tama ang subject mo, then click it, then okay na. Wala nang problema kung ilang seconds siya. Pero kung moving siya, pwede mong gamitin yung burst mode. As long as depende kung hindi pa tapos yung action na gusto mong makapture, i-burst mode siya, tuloy-tuloy yun na makakapture siya. Then later on nga, makakapili ka na ng magagandang shots sa mga frames doon sa burst mode na kinunan mo. Okay.
Okay. Ito naman, sir, from Miss, I don't know pala kung Miss or Mr. ito. I'll just do away with the Mr. and Miss. I'll just give the name. From Neil Nacorda, what are your tips in taking group photos or people gathered together during events, trainings, or on stage? Ano daw po yung tips?
Okay. Iwasan natin lagi yung parang firing squad na pose na lahat parang nakapilang ganon. So maganda siya, pwede mo siyang, although pwede siyang in-out. Kunyari one line naman siya, para naman may iba, in-out. And usually pag ginagawa ko, group photo ako, sa left side medyo position sila na parang nakatagilid para at least hindi laging straight na para siyang firing squad. Pero kung group photos naman siya at marami, usually basta rest assured na kung nasa likod ka, rest assured nasa window mo yung dalawang nasa tao para kita ka. Okay? Hindi yung parang doon ka sa likod ng isang tao. Doon ka, you place yourself in between, parang ito yung parang window mo, yung dalawang tao na nasa harap mo. And try na minsan sa labas, I try na minsan may mga araw na nasisilayan, yung iba may araw, yung iba wala. Try na to look for a place na walang araw o walang shade, may shade para at least pantay yung kulay ng mga taong kinukunan mo. So yun, ilan yun sa mga ginagawa ko during group photo. Tapos sa mga scenes na ganyan, mga events, syempre kunan mo muna yung event, yung full shot, kung mga participants. Tapos yung speaker, syempre kukunan mo siya. Pero laging rest assured na merong backdrop na makikita para alam ko ano yung event na kinukunan mo doon sa tao na yun. Always, for example, di ba may rostrum o podium, tapos mayroong backdrop, isama mo yung backdrop para alam nila pag pinakita mo na ito yung event na kinapture mo. So yun.
Thank you, sir. Okay, for our Zoom platforms, kindly put place your question in the Q&A button kasi natatabunan po siya sa chat. Ayan, so hindi po natin mababasa pag nasa chat siya. Okay. Next, Sir Henry, what are the do's and don'ts in cleaning the lens po? Thank you, from Paul Henyo.
Siyempre, the usual din na ginagawa natin, dapat hindi siya yung rough na yung cloth o ano. Actually, simple lang siya, hindi naman siya sensitive sa cleaning kasi plastic lang siya or glass. So, linis lang na maigi, wala nang problema. So, yun lang. Kahit cotton lang, linisin niya lang, ganun lang. And then, check mo kung malinaw, and then linis ulit kung hindi malinaw, ganun lang.
Okay. Ayan, thank you, sir. Okay. Next, from Cameron Kim Pascobilio. Good afternoon, sir. Any tips po for product photo shoot when using mobile camera lang po? Salamat. Ayan.
Okay.
Product photo shoot daw po.
Product photo shoot. First of all, tawag dito. So, kung product shot siya, dapat maganda rin yung lighting. So, syempre, for example, magbigay tayo ng isang magandang product shot para at least mas detailed. For example, isang libro. Ganyan. Instead na kunan mo siya ng naka-flat, pwede mo siyang kunan na with other books around, tapos siya yung nangingibabaw, isa yon. O kaya yung mga pwede nakatayo, or sige, another product. For example, magbigay ka ng ibang product para, for example, isang vase. So, syempre, kukunan mo siya na patayo, o kaya, ganito na, food product na lang. So, usually, yung iba, kinukunan na lang yung food product na nasa plastic. If pwede natin kunan yung product, mismo yung loob ng product, pwede yung buksan, yung wrapper, buksan nyo para makita kung ano yung product na nasa loob ng wrapper. and then makikita yung name ng brand. So yun, mas detailed, mas closer, mas maganda yon. Kesa yung naka-plastic tapos pag ano mo may reflection ng plastic, so useless. So usually yung ginagawa ko, like yung coffee, binubuksan ko yung coffee beans, tapos ito yung product shot, yung package, and then may mga beans, tapos may cup, tapos ganito rin take consideration din yung background nyo. Dapat kung ano lang siya, black lang siya o plain lang, walang mga nakaka-distract sa background nyo. So yun, para ang tutok ng ano nyo, ng attention nyo is the product itself. So yun. So make it sure na make the product na convincing, like for example yung food, pag nakita nila yung picture, parang gusto mong kainin yun, gusto mong bilhin yun. So make it palatable, make it parang affecting the senses ng viewer mo. So yun.
Ayun. Okay, thank you, sir. Next one, we have from Ruben Valenton. Can we post a photo of people taken in a public place online?
So yun ethics naman sa photography, kahit hindi siya smartphone. If it's kunyari children or very delicate or sensitive yung mga tao, yung scene yun, if you want to capture them, paalam kayo. They explain to them. Pag pumayag, edi good. Pero pag hindi pumayag, respect them. Kasi respect the privacy. Baka mapasira sila. Alam niyo yung social media, pag nakita, iba na yung interpretation, iba-ibang interpretation. So, mas maganda yung ipaalam nyo. Para alam ng tao, anong kukunan, kung anong nangyari. Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir. And then, we have here, what is the best setting or adjustment in Pro Mode to capture the moon and or the stars? From Al Francis.
Kahit nga sa DSLR, mahirap din. As long as meron kang telephoto, mga zoom, mga lens kasi nagpapaano dyan eh. So sa DSLR, kung meron kang telephoto, usually talagang matatalas na telephoto lens yan. Pero kung sa camera phone, meron ding mga accessories na parang long distance din yung zoom lens. Pero tapos i-capture, kung maliwanag, katulad ng sinasabi ko, yung exposure pa rin ibaba nyo. Laging exposure. Bukod sa focus na, exposure. Kung gusto maliwanag, itaas nyo. Kung gusto nyo madilim, konti, then ibaba nyo. Yun, andun yung exposure. Exposure pa rin.
Okay, so exposure pa rin. Okay. And then, sir, kasi po nabanggit niyo po kanina na pwede tayong gumamit ng mga apps. Ano po? So, ang question ni JP Andam is, do third-party app enhance the lens? May enhance daw po nila yung lens ba?
So actually, kung ano nakunan mo, hindi actually the lens eh. Once na nakunan mo siya, yun na yun. So yung apps will help you enhance the picture na taken. So kung ano nakuha na mo, yun na yun, hindi sa lens yun.
Okay. Next, sir, from Patricia Gallo. Bakit kaya yung mga photos kapag sinend minsan sa messenger, hindi na ganun kaganda, nagpipixel na kapag sinave sa phone?
Bumababa kasi yung resolution. Kaya usually pag nagpapasend ako ng pictures ay sa email para buo pa rin yung resolution. Pero kasi 'di ba sa Facebook hanggang 720 lang yata yung kaya nilang So yun, bumababa talaga resolution even sa video.
Okay, so ayun. So mas maganda pa rin sa email na lang mag-send. Mas malaki yung kaya niya. Or i-save sa flash drive, no, sir?
Oo, tapos i-send mo na. Yun din, file mo na yun and then send it. Kung maraming files, use WeTransfer, kung ano man pwede mong i-send. Kaya minsan, pag mga kailangan ng mga pang-poster, kailangan ng ibang agency, through email tayo nagsisend. Kasi pag sa Messenger, iba na, hindi na siya
And then, next one. Okay, we have here, when you take a photo, what is the minimum resolution you have to consider when printing it in a large banner? Ayan. So pag
Come
malaking
again?
banner daw, sir.
Yun
Sir,
nga. So yun nga, may limitation nga yung mga megapixel natin resolution. So may pinakita ko na slides na kahit 2 megapixel, kaya niya mag-print sa 3 by 5 na photo paper. So kung mataas yung ang megapixel, better may chance ka na sa tarpaulin, sa poster, pwede siya. Pero yun pa rin, gamitan mo pa rin tamang lighting, exposure at focus kasi pag zoom out mo siya, zoom in mo, makikita mo pa rin kung talagang matalas o tama yung pagkaka-picture mo. Yun.
Ayan. Thank you, Sir Henry. From Josiah Puyugaw, sorry. Hi po, what is the most essential focal length for your lens that you always bring with your kit based from your experiences with DOST, sir?
Sa DSLR na to, no? Depende kung ano yung event. Kung kailangan ng merong out of town, I usually use yung focal length lang na normal. Tapos yung kung kailangan ng mga tawag dito, depende, may 50 mm, depende yan sa event. Mga normal na lens na ginagamit for the event. Pero kung nyari may mga out of town shoot ako na mga bundokot, yon, 200 mm ginagamit ko para mas matalas at mas kaya mo pa siyang i-zoom in ng mas malapit as far as parang the nearest na possible na makapture mo siya. So yun. Pero sa camera, sa phone, wala talaga. Kaya kung ano lang makita natin, yun lang siya. Unless gumamit ka ng mga accessories na sinasabi ko, may mga camera na, may mga lens na, may mga zoom lens din. Pero tingnan natin, hindi ko pa natatry kasi.
Okay, sir. Okay, may tanong din dito, what common range of camera range is recommendable for the rule of thirds?
Come again?
What, sabi niya, sir, what common ratio of camera range is recommendable for rule of thirds?
Sa camera, sa smartphone, wala naman. Kasi, ano na siya, fix na kasi siya eh. So, hindi mo siya, yung rule of third, it's either, nasabi ko nga, it's either, kung ano lang makita natin, kung ano lang ma-shoot natin, yung capability ng smartphone, ayun lang siya. Unless gusto mong lumayo, o gusto mong lumapit, yun. Tako ko ba yung tanong?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, sa anggulo pa rin, sir.
Oo.
Nasa anggulo pa rin tayo. Okay. And then we have here, anonymous attendee po kasi, so babasahin ko na lang. Minsan yung kukunan, I think kukunan ito. Kukunan mo na tao po na gusto makuha ang buong background at malinaw ang mukha niya. So, yung tao, tapos malinaw yung mukha niya, tapos may background siya. Di ba dapat po lumapit siya sa camera at ang pwesto niya medyo malayo sa background para kuha lahat po? So parang ang naintindihan ko, halimbawa ako ang kukunan, tapos gusto din kunan pati yung background na maganda. Ayun, paano daw po yung...
Pwede naman yun. You position yourself na tapos i-tap mo yung yung focus. Pakikita mo rin pati sa likod, malinaw na rin siya. Lumayo ka, tapos hindi siya yung lalapit sa camera para makuha yung buong ano. Meron kasing ibang camera phone, yung features na meron silang blur effect. Usually ganun. Pero meron mga the usual, mga common na smartphones na pag landscape lang, mga landscape, kuha na naman lahat kahit sabi mo may tao sa ano. Kuha lahat. Walang malabo.
Okay, from Sofia Brent Alamares. Sabi niya, any tips of taking picture of yourself if you don't have anyone to take a photo of you? So, paano mag-selfie daw, sir? yun. Paano mag-selfie?
Kasi una-una hindi rin ako mahilig mag-selfie. Pero anyway, usually ang ginagawa ko, may camera apps, yung sa camera apps natin may seconds, 'di ba, mga timer. Para hindi na masyadong yung usually, sige, gusto mo walang timer. Hawakan mo lang yung phone mo, and then try it na hindi naman kita yung braso mo, ano. Then you can from top view, pwedeng side view, pwedeng lower view, depende sa iyo kung anong gusto mong angulo. Pero kunan mo lahat ng angulo. So yon. Then check mo kung saan maganda yung angulo mo. Then repeat it always.
Ayan. So, marami tayong mga questions pa. Kaya lang, our time is running out. So, ito na po yung panghuling katanungan from Carl Galvez. And good afternoon po, ma'am, sir. I would like to ask po, since there are many smartphones being promoted or offered in the market with different camera specialization and specification, as an experienced professional photographer, aside from iPhone, what brand of smartphones or phone models would you recommend that you think that has a good buy? And lastly, for those who aspire to be professional photographers someday, what advice can you give them to unleash their fullest potential in finding the right taste in photography? Thanks.
Okay, yung first question, actually wala namang magandang phone. Ako, bumibili ako kung ano ang kailangan ko. Kung ano yung needs ko. Hindi dahil sa iPhone siya na mataas, bibiling ko pero hindi ko naman magamit kasi hindi ko alam kung paano gamitin. So first of all, you buy your phone that's what you need. Hindi yung kung ano lang available sa market na akala mo maganda. Importante doon is kung magagamit mo yung phone. Kasi ako, hindi lang iPhone yung nagamit ko. Marami na rin ako nagamit na ibang phone kasi walain ako ng phone. So kahit ng mga mid-range na phone nagagamit ko, at nagagamit ko rin yung ability ko, yung skill ko sa photography. So wala sa phone yan. So una-una, kung kailangan mo, yun ang gamitin mo. Yun ang bilhin mo. Pero kung may pera ka at gusto mo na, later on, mapapractice mo naman yun, mapag-aaralan mo naman yung mga features nun, and then, good. Pero importante talaga, kung magagamit mo. Yun. Tapos ano yung last question?
Ayan. Actually, sir, hindi ito question, but this is a request from Leonardo Britannico Bainas. Sabi niya, sana may part 2, Sir Richard and Sir Henry and Science and Technology Information Institute. Thank you. Ayan. So, katulad ng sinabi ni Sir Henry kanina, magpa-part 2 po tayo, di ba, Sir Henry? Kapag...
Oo naman. Tumibok ang puso.
Ayan, kapag tumibok ang puso. Ayan, kapag pwede na tayong accept ng walk-in clients. Ayan, kasi po mas maganda pag face-to-face po, actual. Ayan. So, actually po, sa actual po, hindi lang 2 oras, kundi po ay 4 na oras. Kasama na po dyan yung actual. Ay, opo. Meron din po tayong photojournalism na yun. Meron pong mga, may training din po na gano'n. Ayan. So, pag pwede na tayong mag-accept ng walk-in clients, mag-i-invite po ulit kami sa inyo. Ayan. At umaasa kami na sasamahan niyo po ulit kami. Ayan. So, at this point, we call on our ever-supportive and energetic director for the closing remarks, Sir Richard P. Borgas.
Hello, lahat ng ating mga kaibigan, lalong-lalo na yung mga sumusubaybay sa ating series, our DOST-STII Library Series. Okay? Kasi alam ko, ang karamihan sa inyo ay hindi ito unang pagkakataon na sumali sa ating webinar. Okay? These webinars are brought to you by our library. Kasi alam niyo naman, lalo na ngayon sa bubble, inulit nila ang prohibition for libraries to open to the public. So, sarado yung ating library. Ngunit, hindi ibig sabihin na titigil tayo sa pag-serve ng ating mga kababayan. So ito ay isang very creative way to continue serving our public. This is a way to pivot, no? And do something else. If we cannot serve our public face-to-face, we will serve them virtually like today. Okay, in this manner, We actually reach out to more people, more than 500 people on Zoom, and I don't know how many people on Facebook. I mean, this is remarkable, no? Kasi kung library lang ang puntahan natin, konti lang mga tao na pwedeng pumunta dito. Lalong-lalo na malayo kami or matraffic kami, so konti lang talaga mga tao. But because we have found the power of virtual meetings, this is the way, this is going to be part of our service delivery moving forward. So nagpapasalamat ako sa lahat ng ating mga librarians, okay, under Alan and Linder and Irene there also, because they have taken up the cudgels of serving our public virtually. Now, there are a number of things that the pandemic has prohibited us from doing. One is, of course, visiting libraries like ours. You know, wala nang mga parties na maraming tao, wala nang visits to museums, wala nang travel, okay? But there are certain things that cannot simply be locked down, all right? I don't know if you agree with me that number one, you cannot lock down creativity. Di ba? Kaya sa panahon ng pandemya, ang daming mga bagong hobbies, mga bagong interests ang ating napupursue. Sana kasama na dyan ang paggamit ng inyong cameras or smartphones to take better pictures. Okay. Another thing that the lockdown cannot contain is collaboration. Okay? Wala namang nagpigil sa atin na hindi na tayo mag-collaborate dahil naka-lockdown tayo. So, you responding to our invitation, that is a good form of collaboration. Okay? Salamat kayo na walang bayad itong webinar na to. Hindi ba? Kasi other webinars charge a fee for disclosing their knowledge, okay? But at STII, we want to serve the public because it's the public that pays us our salaries, okay? The third item that cannot be locked down is care. Our caring for each other. Kung minsan, all it takes is mangumusta lang tayo, kumusta na kayo? Okay pa ba kayo? Wala bang nagkakasakit sa inyo? We need to show care. Lalong-lalo na sa panahon ng pandemya. Okay? So again, 3 things that the pandemic or the lockdown cannot lock down are creativity, collaboration, and caring. So tatlo po yun, tandaan ninyo yun. Now, let me see if you can see me. All right? Kasi nga naman, Henry talked about how important light is for photography. Kaya nga photography, di ba? Photo means light. So napakahalaga ng light talaga. And I also referenced light when I talked about how to excel, how to perform well on the digital stage. Okay? You really need to master the light because the camera is a tool that is now so available and it is ubiquitous. You bring the camera everywhere, but sometimes we need to learn how to use the camera better. Camera is everywhere. People bring it to the kitchen and show what food they're cooking, etc., etc. People bring it to their office and show what they're doing. Yung camera nila, kung minsan nasa bedroom, ay naku, wag na lang natin pag-usapan anong ginagawa nila doon. But the camera is your tool to express yourself, to promote yourself, even the contents that you know. So gamitin natin ito sa tamang paraan. Learn how to maximize the use of light. For example, if you look at my image now, okay, so you see, I have 2 light sources in front of me, and on my left, it's off now. So my face doesn't really look very nice kung half of it is in darkness. Okay? But I can increase my light and I shine out better. Di ba? So sana maintindihan nyo yan, light is very important pag harap mo ang camera. Pag ginamit mo ang camera. So use light to your advantage. So I'd like to thank Henry for his insights and making himself available to share his knowledge to our participants this afternoon. And to all our participants, thank you also for joining us. And we hope you will join us in our next webinars. Maraming salamat po.
Ayan, thank you so Okay, thank you so much, Sir Richard. As always, you dazzle us with your words. Ayan. So, kaya alam ko, sir, hindi lang ako, kundi yung mga participants gustong-gusto pakinggan kayo eh. Ayan. Okay, so before we proceed to the evaluation, let me invite you to our online library literacy program. Again, katulad po ng sinabi ni, sa presentation po ni Ma'am Linder kanina, the online library literacy program or OLLP is offered for free. And this is intended for schools or groups with a minimum participants of at least 50. In this program, we provide orientation on our services, conduct a demonstration on how to navigate our online public access catalog or OPAC, and Starbucks Digital Library, including its mobile apps. This is our way of providing assistance online while our library is closed for the public. If you're interested, get in touch with us and let's set a date. Here are our contact details. I think mamaya mapoproject. Ayan, okay. So you can take a screenshot of our contact details. So we have here our email, our mobile numbers, our Facebook account, Instagram account, Twitter account, and we also have our DOST-STII Library YouTube channel. Ayan, so pasubscribe po. Okay, kindly help us spread the word and we hope to have you again. So to be updated on our activities and services, please follow us on our follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and subscribe in our YouTube channel. Okay, finally, ang inaantay ng lahat, okay, here is the link of our evaluation form. Ayan. You may take a screenshot if you cannot accomplish the form today. The evaluation link is open until Monday. So hanggang Monday lang po, 5 p.m. Again, that is 5 p.m. Only participants who successfully accomplish the evaluation form will be provided with a certificate, as mentioned several times. Make sure that your name is correct together with your email address. We will not be entertaining messages asking for the webinar evaluation link, as mentioned several times. Okay. Ayan. So, again, our official working hours is from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday to Thursday. So, 4-day work week po tayo. Wala po tayong pasok kapag Friday. Ayan. Please expect your certificate on or before April 14, 2021. Ayan. So the recording of this webinar will be sent to your email together with your e-certificate. April 12 pala, sorry. I stand corrected. April 12 po. Please expect your certificate on or before April 12, 2021. And then, while you are or our participants are answering the evaluation, may request all the panelists to please open your cam and we will have our photo op. Okay, and 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, saglit lang po. Okay, sige. Again, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you ulit, Sir Borgos. Yan, so habang nagsasagot po kayo, makikichika na lang ako. Okay. So, ayan, sabi nila sa chat, see you on our next webinar. Yes. Magpo-post po kami ng updates sa susunod naming webinar sa Facebook page namin, katulad po ng sinabi ko kanina. So please follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/STII Library. Mapo-post po lahat doon. Sorry. Ayan, mapopost po lahat doon yung ating upcoming activities. Ayan. And then, dito po sa webinar evaluation link, pwede po kayong maglagay dito ng or kung anong topic ang gusto nyo na next na webinar natin. Ayan. And then we will see kung ano yung possible na pwede nating gawin. And isang chika pa din po, ayan, kapag po naka-receive na po yung kaibigan nyo ng certificate, kasi po last time, nangyari po ito, first day pa lang po ng pagsisend namin ng certificate, ang dami na pong email kaming natanggap na nagtatanong bakit daw yung kaibigan niya natanggap na niya yung certificate pero siya hindi pa. Okay? So, bali po, yung certificate po kasi hindi siya pwedeng email blast. Dahil kailangan isa-isa yung pagsisend ng email, ano po. Kaya po, isa-isa yung pagsisend namin. So, depende po kung pang ilang number kayo na nagsagot sa evaluation form. Nakalagay po kasi sa Google form, Google link, Google Sheet, yon, sorry. Nakalagay po doon. So, halimbawa po, yung friend nyo po, ang pangalan niya is nasa number 50. So, syempre, mauuna po siyang makakatanggap ng certificate. Kapag yung pangalan niyo po is nasa 1,300, ayan, mahuhuli po kayong makatanggap ng certificate. Ano po? Kaya po, kapag naman po sure kayo na nakasagot kayo ng evaluation form, wag na po kayong mag-alala kung first day pa lang hindi pa kayo nakakatanggap. Okay? As promised, ibibigay po or isi-send po namin sa inyo yung certificate along with the recordings on or before the date that we promised. And that is on or before April 12, 2021. Ayan. Malapit na din po ang Holy Week, tama? Ayan. So, yung mga natutunan natin na tips and tricks from Sir Henry, ayan, magagamit po natin yan to capture yung mga moments natin this Holy Week. At since ngayong March is Women's Month, ayan, so sa ating mga women na participants, sa ating mga nanay, sa ating mga lola, mga ate, ayan, Happy Women's Month po sa inyo. Okay, for our Zoom participants, you may leave when you are done accomplishing the evaluation form. And, okay, once again, thank you so much everyone. Sa ngalan ng DOST-STII, we hope to see you again in our next webinar. This is Miss Irene Alice Brillo saying stay healthy, stay safe, and God bless everyone.